Hi friends and subscribers, this is Mahmoud Sheikh, and from my last video I have started a new video tutorial series on PHP Codeigniter, and in this series I will discuss about developing a lecturers management system using PHP Codeigniter AJAX and jQuery. In my last video, I gave you the complete overview of my application which I will be going to develop in this complete tutorial series. And since this is the first video of our tutorial series, in this video I will try to cover the functionality of registering the user. Okay, and also I will discuss about the design of my database. Okay, so now let us start our discussion. Okay, so now let us go to our PHP my admin. Okay, so here these are the tables which I'll be using in this complete tutorial series. There is a users table, personal details table, professional details table, qualification details table, skills table, and then skills names table, and then post table, and then follow table. Okay, so now let us see the fields present inside each of these table. Okay, so now this is the users table. Okay, inside the users table I have created user ID which I have declared as a primary key, then username, email, password, confirm password, level, and then follower count. In the personal table I have created an ID field which I have declared as a primary key, and then user ID, father name, mother name, department, designation, gender, mobile, date of birth, marital status, and user file. Okay, and here I have created a profession ID which I have declared as a primary key, and then user ID, college address, total experience, and salary received field. Okay, first field is ID which I have declared as a primary key, and then user ID, highest qualification, passing year, percentage, college studied, city and university. And here I have created an ID field which I have declared as a primary key, and then user ID, skill name, skill level, okay, and then top skills flag. Okay, next table I have created a TBL skills names table which I have created to store the names of all the skills. Okay, and then I have a post table where it has a field called ID which I have declared as a primary key, and then user ID, post, published date, and then status of that post. Okay, whether that post is been approved by the admin or not. Okay, now the last table I have the as TBL follow table to store the details of all the followers and followings. Okay, here I have created an ID field, and then a requester ID, and then acceptor ID. Okay, so these are the tables which I have created for my application. Now here I have created a project with a name as lecturers, and that project I have included inside my htdocs folder inside XAMPP. Okay, let me just take you to that folder. Okay, so now I'm in htdocs folder, and here I have created a lecturers folder. As you can see here, inside the lecturers folder I have stored all my Codeigniter framework files and folders. Okay, I have just downloaded the Codeigniter framework from the internet, and then I have moved that folder inside htdocs folder, and then I have just renamed it to lecturers. Okay, and inside that I have created an assets folder, and inside that assets folder I have created a CSS folder to store all my CSS files, an image folder to store the images, and JSS folder to store all the JS files which are required for this application. Okay, and I also have a font awesome folder as well. Okay, so I will put the link in the description of this video from where you can easily download all this CSS, JS, and font awesome files. Okay, so now let me just go to the editor. Okay, so here I have open my project. Okay, so here first you need to set up few things. Those things are like the details of your database. Okay, and then your auto load details like forms, what are the libraries which you are using from the Codeigniter. Okay, so all those details you need to provide at the very beginning. Okay, and now first let us do that. So for that you need to open your project, and then you need to go to inside application folder, and then inside application folder you will have a config folder. Inside that you will find a database file. Okay, so just click on that file, and then here you need to mention the details of your database. Okay, so what is the host name of your database? I have mentioned 127.0.0.1. okay, and then what is the username of your root database? I have mentioned at root. Okay, I have not set any password, so I have leave it as blank. Okay, now I have given the name for my database as lecturers. Okay, so once you enter the details of your database, then just save it and then close it. And then you need to open this autoload.php file. Okay, so inside this autoload.php file you need to mention what are those libraries you are loading in your project. Okay, so I'm using form validation library, session library, and database library. That's why I have mentioned these libraries. And apart from these libraries, I'm also using some helpers provided by Codeigniter framework. I'm using URL helper and form helper. That too you need to mention inside your autoload.php file. Okay, so once you do all these things, you just need to save it and then close it. And then now you need to open your application folder, and then inside application folder go to views folder, and inside you can see I have created an inc folder. Right click on it and then click on new folder, and then just give it a name as inc. And inside inc folder I have created two files. One is header file and one is footer file. Header.php file and footer.php file. Okay, in header.php file I have written this HTML markup. Inside this header file I have linked all my CSS and JS files. Okay, so as you can see here I have linked the jQuery file, Bootstrap file, okay, and jQuery UI file. Okay, all the necessary JS and CSS files I have linked inside this header.php file. Okay, and I am also using Bootstrap framework here. I will put the link of these files in the description below, from where you can easily download these CSS and JS files. Okay, and then here head gets closed. Okay, from here I have started the body tag, and inside that body tag I have created a navigation bar, and then I have created a container, and inside that container I have created a div with a size of column 1, and inside that column 1 I have created a graduation cap, and then I have created a 6 column section. I have left it as it is, and then I have created a 5 column section as well, and which makes a total of 12 column grid. Okay, as our Bootstrap framework provides us 12 columns grid skeleton, we need to design our layout based on this 12 column grid. Okay, so this is about our navigation bar, okay, which comes under header.php file. That inside and inside footer.php file I have created a div with a class of background. Okay, and then I have written some copyright thing. Okay, and then once I complete this header.php file and footer.php file, I have created one more view file, which is a registerview.php file, okay, which you can see here. And inside this registerview.php file I have included my header php file, and at the bottom I have included footer php file. Okay, and inside this register view I have created my layout for allowing the user to register in this website. Okay, so I have started with a class as container, and then I have created a row with a class of justify content between, which helps me to bring the content in middle of the web page. And then I have taken a column of 4 to display my registration form. Okay, and then here I'm displaying a message, a flash message. The moment when I register any user, I will be displaying a message as user registered successfully. Or if I try to submit the registration form without entering any information in the registration form, then these PHP code will help me to display an error message saying that you have not entered any details for the users in the form. Okay, so for displaying those kind of messages flash messages, I have written this code. Okay, and then I have created a panel. Inside that panel I have created a panel heading which says as a register. Okay, and then I have created a panel body. Okay, and inside that panel body I have created a form, okay, with a method as post and action as user. Okay, I'm sending a post request to the user method inside the register controller, okay, which I will be creating in a few moments later. Okay, I already created that controller. It's just that I need to show you that. Okay, so I'll be sending a post request to user method present inside the register controller, and then I have created a text box, form input text box with a name as username, class as form control, and value as username as well. Okay, and placeholder as username. Okay, and this piece of code I have written to display the error whenever user tries to submit the form without entering any value inside this text box. At that time I have to display a message to the user as please enter the details for username. For displaying that error message I have written this form error. Okay, and then I have created an email text box, okay, with all these attributes, and then I have created a drop down which allows the users to select the role. Okay, whenever admin is getting registered to this application, he will be selecting the role as admin, and when a normal user tries to register to this application, then that user has to select the role as user. Okay, here as well I'm displaying the form error, and then password. Okay, now I'm allowing the user to enter the password and also confirm password. Okay, and then at the end I have created a submit button. Okay, so now this is the code for my registration form. Okay, this is an HTML code for my registration form. Okay, now I need to create a controller. Okay, for creating that controller I need to go to my application folder. Inside application folder I have a folder as controllers, and inside the controller folder I have created a register.php controller. Okay, let me just open that controller. Okay, so this is the name of our controller as a register, and inside that I have created a constructor of this class, and inside this constructor I'm calling to the parent constructor, and here I'm calling the model. Okay, I have created a register model which you can see here inside models folder. I have created a register model, and this model I'm using to write my SQL queries, which allows me to interact with the database, which allows me to store the data inside the database, which allows me to write the SQL queries to update the data, to view the data from the database, and to delete the data from the database. Okay, so that I have included inside my constructor so that I don't have to write this piece of code in each and every of my function. So if I mention this inside my constructor, then I don't have to repeat the stuff of loading my register model in each and every of the function. Okay, so now here once I create the function constructor, then I have to create an index function, because index is the first function which will get called whenever this register controller gets executed. Okay, so now here I have created an index function, and inside the index function I am calling the register view, which is this view. Okay, after writing the code till here, and now when you want to execute this project, then you need to go to your browser, and then you need to refer your project by typing localhost or 127.0.0.1 slash the name of your project, and then index.php, and then register. Okay, so register is the name of your controller. Okay, and when you press enter, you can see your register view start displaying to you. Okay, and the very first function which gets executed from the register class is index. Okay, and inside that index function I have loaded my register view. Okay, now the next thing, I need to write the code which can allow me to register the user in our application. Okay, so as you can see here, when I was explaining you this code, I had told you that I'm sending a post request to users method present inside register controller. Okay, so whenever user enters this username, email, role, password and confirm password, and when the user wants to submit this form, I'm going to send a post request to this user method which I have created inside this register controller. Okay, so now we need to discuss this. Okay, so here I have created a public function user. Okay, so now let me just comment this out, save it. Okay, and then echo inside user function. Okay, so now when I will just refresh it, and when I submit the form, then you will see the user method will get executed, see, inside user function. So when I will be submitting this form, this function will get executed. Okay, so we need to write the functionality of allowing the user to register to our website inside this user method. Okay, so that's what I have done here. Okay, here I have written the rules. Okay, so here I'm setting up the rules for my input fields, whatever input fields I have taken here inside my form. Okay, I have taken username field, email field, then role field, and then password, confirm password. Okay, so for all these fields I have to set the rules inside my register. Okay, and while setting up the rules I need to use these names attribute of these input boxes. Okay, username attribute, email attribute, okay, and then level attribute, okay, and then here name, which is password attribute, and then confirm password. Okay, I need to use these same attributes inside my register, inside my users method of register controller. Okay, as you can see here, username, email, okay, and then level, password and confirm password. Okay, and then I will set up an if condition. Okay, and one more thing I also want to tell you, that here you need to also set the rules for your email ID. Okay, so that if the user tries to enter any invalid email, then it should give them a message, enter proper email address. Okay, and that email address also has to be unique. Okay, so for making the email address as unique, so that no two users will have same email, for that I need to use this is unique. Okay, and I need to match that email ID inside the TBL users table. And okay, once you set up the rules for your fields, input fields, and then I will be checking if the users has entered all the details properly, then I will collect all the details from the user and I will store those details inside these variables. Okay, password information inside password field. Okay, and I'm also encrypting the password by using SHA-1. Okay, encryptor. I'll be encrypting and storing that password inside password variable, and confirm password as well, I'm encrypting using SHA-1 encryption format, and I'm storing inside confirm password. Okay, and here I also need to check whether the password and the confirm password which user is entering at the time of registration both should be matched. Okay, what if both of these password and confirm password gets mismatched? Then I should show the user appropriate message as passwords do not match. Okay, and then I immediately have to redirect the user to register page. Okay, that's what I'm doing here. And then here I'm receiving all the data from the user and I'm storing the data inside this data variable using this input post. Okay, so this gives us access to all the data which user will be entering inside this text boxes, and that I'm storing inside this data variable. And inside this data variable I'm also passing the password and confirm password details. And then once I collect all the data from the user, then I'm making a call to my register model. Okay, which I have told you that I had created a register model, and I had also told you what is the purpose of creating this model. So I need to write an SQL query with which I can allow the user to register to our website or our application. Okay, so for writing those queries, I need to create a model, and I have already created that model with the name as a register model. Okay, I need to load that model in my register controller, and I have already told you that inside my constructor I have already loaded that register model. Okay, and here I just need to call the function which I have created inside the register model, and this is the name of the function. Okay, register user. I have created this register user function inside register model, as you can see here, and to this register user function I am passing the data which I have collected from the user. Okay, so this is my register model which extends to Codeigniter model, and inside that I have created a function as a register user. Okay, and from my register controller I am passing the data which I'm receiving from my user, all the details of username, email, role, password and confirm password. All these details will get stored inside this variable data, and I'm passing that data to my register user method which I have created inside my register model. Okay, and here when the data comes here inside this register model PHP file, I'm inserting the data inside the TBL users by executing this query. Okay, if the data gets successfully stored inside the table, then it will return a value of 1, otherwise it will return a value of 0. Okay, suppose successfully data gets registered inside the MySQL table, then it will return a value of 1, and here I am checking if this method returns me a value of 1, then I will display a message to the user as user registered successfully. And for displaying that message I'm using the session flash data. Okay, I'm using the set flash data method. Okay, uh, and I'm displaying that with the help of this message attribute. Okay, and I'm using this message inside my register view. Okay, which I had told you at the very beginning. Here as you can see, session flash data, the same field you need to use here in both the places. Message. Okay, here also message. Okay, and here if the user has made any mistakes at the time of filling up the details for registration, and if something goes wrong, then in that case I will be redirecting the user to the same index page. Okay, which is the registration page. Okay, so this is everything about allowing the user to register to our website. Okay, so here I will just refresh it. Okay, okay, so now let me just go to our database, and here I had already entered a user. Okay, and I already registered a user as an admin, and I will delete that user. Okay, so first let me just do to the let me go to the users table, and I will truncate. Okay, so now let me register a user as an admin. Okay, so let me just refresh, and I will enter the details of the user, then I will enter the password, and here I will enter the wrong password just to show you all the validations are working. Okay, and I will click on submit, then it will show you a message as passwords do not match. Refresh the page. Okay, and then here I will enter the name once again. Okay, and here for the very first time when user is getting registered as an admin, at that time only this drop down should display admin and user. Okay, when the admin gets registered, then this admin option should get hidden from the user, and only the user option should be displayed. Okay, and I will show you that how you can do that. Okay, here I will select the admin, and I will just leave this as blank. Okay, and I will enter password, and now when I click on submit, you will see the email field required error is displaying. This error is displaying because we have set this form error. Okay, that's why you can see the error. Password as well. Okay, and now when I click on submit, okay, I didn't selected the user. I'll select the admin, okay, as a user, and now I will enter the password. And when I click on submit, you will see a flash message gets started display as user registered successfully. Okay, and now when I go to my users page, now you will see the data gets inserted inside the table. Okay, now since an admin is already been registered, so when so next time when another user tries to register with this form, it should not display both the options of admin and user. Okay, only a user option should be displayed to the next user who wants to register to this application. Okay, so for that, what we can do is, for that we need to write another function. Okay, here I have written another function. The name is check admin registered. Okay, so here I'm checking if inside the database, if is there any record whose level is 1 inside the TBL users. Okay, as you can see here, I have already registered the admin and whose level is 1, and if any record found inside the table with the level as 1, then I will select that row and I will return that row. And I will come here to my register.php file controller, and here I'm calling that function, okay, with the help of register model. I'm calling check admin register, and this check admin register function will return me the row, and I'm passing that row inside the register view template in the form of an array. And here I will come to my register view, and I'm checking here inside this rule drop down, if the user table doesn't have any record with the level as 1, in that case I will display both the options admin and user. That means our admin has not yet registered. So now I will just save it, and let me come to my page. Okay, so here you can see both options are displaying, and now when I refresh, you will see there is only one option is displaying as user. Okay, now I can register any other user. Okay, so when the other user is registering, at that time that user will find only the user option inside this role drop down, because admin has already been registered. Okay, so now let me just register another user. On submit, you will see a message gets popped up as user registered successfully, and when I go to the users table, you will see a record with a name as Michael Ron gets registered, and with email address, password, confirm password, and level as 2. Okay, so I have given the level of 1 to admin and level 2 to normal users. Okay, and this level as 1 for admin and 2 for normal user I have given inside the drop down, which I have created inside my register view template. Okay, as you can see here, 1 is for admin and 2 is for user. Okay, so from here these values gets passed to the database. Okay, so this is everything about registering functionality for our lectures management system application. Okay, so in this video we have discussed about database thing for our application, and developing the functionality of registering the user by creating a controller with a name as register and a model with a name as register model, and then a view as register view, and then we created two files, view files, which is header and footer. Okay, and we included those headers and footers inside our register view at the top as header and at the bottom as footer. Okay, so and that's all for this video, guys. Okay, so I hope you understood how to develop the functionality of registering the user inside MySQL database for developing our application of lectures management system. Okay, so that's all for this video, guys. If you like this video, click on like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching.